So what are we talking about? So today we're going to be talking about how to better manage your online leads. I want to show you guys this graph here first that this basically tells us what's going on with online leads and what you need to know to get better at converting those online leads. If you look from the left to the right, this represents, the orange represents the contact rate. So how many times when you call a person, you text them or you email them, how likely are they going to respond and actually pick up the phone and talk to you, right? That's what that orange bar represents. And then the green bar represents when you do talk to them, how many of them are you able to qualify? So they actually want to engage with you in a conversation, right? And they don't think you're just some telemarketer. If you look from the left to the right, the first, the numbers on the bottom represent minutes. So when you get that new online lead in the first 5 minutes, that's how much contact rate and qualification rate you'll get within that first 5 minutes. And the longer you wait, basically, the less likely they're going to answer your phone, let alone you to be able to qualify them. So the name of the game really here is speed. If you didn't already know that, with new online leads, speed is the key here. The longer you wait, the more likely that lead will become staler and staler. And just some stats that we found through some studies that we looked at. Online, everyone's online. When they're looking for, when buyers are looking for property that they might be interested in buying, they're not looking up, advertisement. They're not going on. They're not talking to their family. They're not talking to their friends. Mostly, they're actually just going online and doing their own online search. So it's very competitive. There's so many websites out there that provide the same online search. For example, you've got Zillow, you've got Realtor.com, you've got all these different websites, right? It's not that just they're going to one website, they're going to all of them. So competition for their attention is really, really intense. And what we've seen is that only half of these buyers are being responded to when they say, hey, I need help, and they send that out to all the realtors available. Only half of them are being responded to. I was just talking to one of my friend and colleagues last couple of days ago, and he was looking for a place to rent, and he sent out messages to realtors asking for help. And there's a good chunk that actually never talked to them, never responded back to them. So that's a problem, right? And I understand that you guys are really busy. You're working 24/7. You might be stuck working with another client at the same time that a new lead is trying to get your attention, right? So I totally get it. Why sometimes you're not able to respond to leads right away. But I would say this is more of an opportunity, and that's why we've introduced this product called FiveStreet to help you automate some of that process. Just a couple more statistics on the screen saying that when you do respond, it looks like the response rate is about 15 hours. What that means is, looking at the graph, right? 15 hours is way more than 5 minutes, right? So you can imagine the opportunity here that, if the average realtor is not responding to their leads right away, then you have the opportunity, now that you know this statistic, that if you respond to that same lead that's probably asking multiple realtors for help, if you're the one that responds to them first, you're probably the one that's going to earn their business. And we do see that only a quarter of leads are being followed up within the first hour. So it's really what we want to say here is time for change. Those statistics, I don't think should be the same moving forward, especially with the technology available nowadays, right? There shouldn't really be an excuse, right? And that's why we've introduced this new program called FiveStreet to realtors. It's basically I call it like a funnel. So you might get leads online from your own website. You might get leads online from, a paid subscription through realtor.com, a paid subscription through Zillow, or if you're part of a bigger franchise, like a bigger brokerage, like Realtor, Remax or Keller Williams or Century 21 or Coldwell Banker, et cetera, et cetera. They might give you their leads themselves too. And if you have something called like Smart Zip as well, you can get leads from all these places, right? FiveStreet, what it does is lets you put all those leads all into one place, a centralized dashboard, so that it's easier for you to learn just one website to manage all your leads. And you don't have to learn all the different websites to interpret, or call all these leads. That's probably going to save you a lot of time and effort, not having to deal with so many websites for the same thing, right? Managing your online leads. Because you're funneling it all into one dashboard, it's really easy to adopt and use. And it's good for, that mom and pop operation, or if you're a solo agent. And we even have customers that are huge. They have offices in multiple cities, different states, right? So FiveStreet is really designed for from one realtor agent on their own to a huge organization. And the way FiveStreet sits is in as far as in the phase of a new lead goes. When you get a new lead, you're getting it from these third-party lead generation or lead provider websites. We don't sell leads ourselves, so we won't give you leads. We're not gonna do that ourselves here in FiveStreet, but you would get those leads from a third-party lead provider, right? Our goal in FiveStreet is once you get those lead providers and you funnel them into FiveStreet, we're gonna help you with that initial first impression to that new lead, making sure that they're responded to right away, and that you're distributing that lead to your team in a way so that it builds friendly competition to make sure they are responding to their leads right away. You don't want to just assign them a lead to one of your team members, and that team member might be out for lunch or something, and then all of a sudden 5 minutes later that lead becomes staler and staler, right, as we saw from the graph. So we will give you some tools to make sure that if you are part of a team, your team is motivated so that they respond to that lead right away. After that, of course, there are some leads that you'll need to nurture a little bit more, right? They're going to ask for more information. They want you to follow up with them a couple of times. Maybe they're not ready this month, then they're ready next month. So you're going to need something like a CRM, a customer relationship management tool. And that's where other products like we have our own called Top Producer X, and that will help you continue with nurturing and building those relationships after that initial first impression. So that's where FiveStreet kind of sits in, is in that beginning phase, that introductory phase, when you're getting a brand new inquiry from a lead. You've never talked to them before. So we get leads from hundreds of third-party websites. Like I said, Zillow, Realtor.com, there's Trulia, there's Market Leader, there's Remax, Estately, Zerpal, and so on and so on, right? So there's we are able to receive leads from pretty much anyone that's online that's capturing leads. Once you send them into FiveStreet, that lead that's asking for help, raising their hand, they're not gonna need to wait for you to be ready to speak to them. FiveStreet will automatically respond to them with a text and an email. And it looks very personable because you are able to customize what that message says. So what a lot of traditional lead capture forms do is once someone fills it out, it sends them an automated email or text that says, "Thanks for your inquiry. We'll get back to you ASAP," right? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to customize that so they don't think it's like a robot that's responding to them? So instead of saying that, it would say, you can customize it to say, "Hey, John, thanks for your inquiry on this 123 Main Street that you found on Realtor.com. I'm Dan, your realtor. Let me know when's the best time for me to give you a call, right? So that is a more personable, and it's automated, right? So it looks like you manually tapped on your small tiny screen with your fingers. You did that right away and responded to them right away, but instead it's actually it's actually automated, so you didn't have to manually do that. It gets sent out whether they're sending you an inquiry in the middle of the day. You might be stuck with another client, or it might be that that lead that is busy all day, all night, and the only time that they are able to look for properties and fill out these lead forms is like at 1 o'clock in the morning, right? So with this automated response, it looks like you're right there with them right away as soon as they're asking for it. And if you're the first realtor that responds to them right away, that's pretty much it. You'll probably earn their business right away, since you're the first person offering your services. Now, as far as if you are part of a team, if you look on the right side of this slide, it says lead broadcast to select group of agents claimed by first available. So what this means is when a new lead comes into your system, into your FiveStreet, and you have multiple agent licenses that you've purchased for FiveStreet, when that lead goes in, you can set it up so that everybody in your team gets an alert saying, hey, you got a new lead. And the first person that can make the commitment to call that lead, to text them, to communicate them in some way right away, whoever can commit to that lead to respond to them right away, as soon as they could click on claim, it will reveal their full phone number and email address so they can make that connection right away. So when you're sending it to a group of your agents, the phone number and the email address, it's going to be, it's not going to be fully revealed. That way people can't steal each other's leads, right? But once they claim it, then they'll be able to see that information. Everybody else won't. Speaking of lead distribution and teams, as far as how you can customize it a little bit more, we have some lead routing rules available when you set up the system. So for example, if you have a really important listing, and let's say it's like a $50 million listing, and you want to make sure that all the leads are routed to that listing agent in your team for that $50 million home, right? Just to make sure it's handled properly with one single person. So you can set up what we call a listing agent rule. So it goes to that person right away, and it doesn't go to everybody else. Another customization you can do with routing is being able to set up territories. So if you have a person in charge of that suburb and another person in charge of the west end of that city, right? Or if you have smaller groups, right? If you have multiple people assigned to different territories, you can route it so that it goes to those people in charge of that territory. Another thing you can do as an example here of routing is source. So what this means is if the lead is coming from a specific website, like if they're coming from Zillow, for example, or realtor.com, you can set it up so those type of leads are being sent to a specific person or a specific group. So if you have that one person in your team that's really good at explaining how the Zestimate works. So the Zestimate, if you guys don't know, is basically Zillow's way of predicting how much a house's value would be. And sometimes it can be a hit and miss, of course, depending on the data available for them, for their algorithm to figure that out. So if you have an agent in your team that's really good at explaining that Zestimate, you might want to consider setting up a rule so that all the Zillow leads goes to that person or that team, right? And vice versa. Another routing rule you can set up is price. So if you are an active member of your office, let's say you're the broker, but you also are part of the lead conversion, you're actively in working with the leads, and you're not a hands-off type of broker owner, you can set up a price rule so that Let's say if a new lead comes in and that property is worth more than 20 million, right? You can set it up so that it goes to you first, right? And then anything below 20 million, it goes to the rest of your team. Or if you want to, another way you can think about it is if you want to reward your best performers on the team. So if you have a group of 10 people, for example, and you run like a contest every month for, you know, top response rate or top sellers in your team, right? And you pick 3 people as your top 3 performers. You can set up a price rule so that anything beyond a certain price, like let's say 2 million, goes to those top 3 performers first, and they get first dibs on those higher value listings or leads, right? So that's these are just examples of what you can do with lead routing. And there's, you know, we will work with you basically with our sales team, our support team. If you have a more niche kind of routing that you want to do, there are ways for us to be able to do that. So that would be a conversation that we would have with you. Let me just quickly pause here for a second. We might have some questions, which I love. So give me just a sec here. Good morning, Mohammed. Thanks for joining. Awesome. Okay, no questions so far. Again, just want this is a good reminder to say, hey, if you have a question, go ahead and post it in the chat or in the QA, and we'd love to answer it during the show. We are about halfway through the show, so if you have any final questions as well, you know, welcome you to put those in before the show ends. Okay. But moving right along, this is basically the text that your lead will get. It's going to say, hey, Mohammed, got your inquiry on 123 Main Street on realtor.com. When's a good time to talk? Dan Salcedo, right? So it's personalized and it will automatically put in their name. It will automatically put in the property address that they were inquiring about. And it will automatically put in the website that they're inquiring from. So it's not generic, and it's more likely that lead will respond to that text because it's addressing them directly, and it's making it relevant to what they were just looking at online, right? So they're more likely to respond to you, and it's sent within the first minute when they submit that form, whichever website they go to. Now, on the other side, this is what you'll see. You'll get a text alert saying, hey, this lead, Craig Simino, this is his email, this is his phone number, this is the address that he was inquiring about. That address has a list price of $490,000. It's got 4 bedrooms, and here's a link for more information. So a lot of our customers actually use FiveStreet without even logging in to the dashboard. All they do is look at the text message and they call them right away, or they tap on their phone number right away, right? So you can use FiveStreet without even having to ever learn it. Just using it from the text message that we send you. Now, if you are setting up a team with FiveStreet, this is basically what everyone will see when we're sending that lead to multiple people. It's not going to reveal their phone number, the full 10-digit phone number. It's not going to reveal the entire email address. Basically, they have to click on the claim button to reveal it. So this will make sure that your team members are not stealing each other's leads. Now, once they claim it, it's going to reveal the phone number. We'll check to make sure that the phone number is actually real. Their email is actually real. It'll give you some more information about where they came from. So for example, this one came in from realtor.com on July 19th at 4 p.m., less than a minute ago. And if there's any notes that comes with that, it will include that as well. Another thing that we provide whenever you get a new lead is we're going to scour basically all the social media website that's available out there. And if they have a public profile that they've shared all their information with, like their gender, their job title, their company, their work location, and if they've shared their picture as well online, you'll see all that information, and that's really useful for you to be able to break that ice, right? And it kind of gives you a bit of a guesstimate as far as, what type of listing you might be able to discuss with them. For example, this one on screen, it says this person is the director of their marketing department, and they work in the Washington, D.C. metro area. And as you probably know, most people want to live near their work, right? So that the commute is not so long, right? That might be changing in the next few months and years. It's already probably changing for some with the work from home situation that's becoming a lot more popular. So maybe people won't really care how far they are from their physical location because they can work from home. But in most cases, still people want to, in general, live close to their work. So if they're working in the Washington D.C. metro area, that the type of listings or the property values in that area will be at a certain range. So you don't have to spend so much time, maybe quickly looking up all the outer edges of that area. You don't have to look at those properties, and you can hone in a little bit closer to the metro area. So think of it as a bonus whenever you get a lead anywhere. It doesn't matter what website they're coming from. FiveStreet will automatically go through all those different social media websites and give you that information if we're able to find it. Another cool thing that it'll do is whatever address that they are inquiring about. So even on your own website where you just have a box that says fill in the address that you're interested in talking about, we're automatically going to read that address, and we're going to, through our partnership with hundreds of MLS boards, we're going to see if there's a listing information tied to that property. And if there is, you're going to be able to see the price. You're going to be able to see all these listing information like year built, square footage, number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, and so on. So it's doing that automatically for you. So you don't have to log into your MLS board and do that research. It'll pop up as soon as you receive it into FiveStreet. And lastly, the feature that I like to talk about is the performance insights. And let me just zoom in a little bit here so you guys can get a better feel for it. So when you're getting all these online leads and you're funneling them all into your FiveStreet dashboard, you might be getting leads from Zillow, Realtor.com, Lead Router, Coldwell Banker, right, et cetera, et cetera. So just like this graph, what this allows you to do, if you're putting all your leads into one place, it lets us create some trend graphs, some charting, so that it makes it easier for you to make better decisions as far as where you should invest your money into when you're trying to pay to receive all these different leads, right? So as some of you guys know, if you sign up for Zillow, it might be like $100 a month, thousands of dollars a month, et cetera, et cetera. Same thing with Realtor.com. You might be spending thousands of dollars a month just to get a chance to get a lead, right? This is just an example, so it's nothing against any of these companies, but that as an example, if I was reading this, I can see that from December, January to February, it looks like I'm getting a lot more leads from my Realtor.com investment. And Zillow, the purple one, it started off low already in December, and then it became really low in January, and then to non-existent in February. So if I'm paying for Zillow, I might want to call them right away to see, hey, where's all my leads that I'm paying for, right? Another example interpreting this graph here is the rental leads, the green bar. Looks like the green bar is increasing from December to February, right? So we're getting a lot more rentals in February compared to December. So I might want to talk to my team and see what's going on in the field there, see if there's anything we need to change with our operations so we can convert or handle those rental leads a lot more effectively. So that's what we mean about the performance insights for brokers here. This is not just for like a large organization. If you are that solo agent, this will also make sure that your hard-earned money you're very tight on the budget, you don't have the resources a larger company would have, you need something to be able to help you make those decisions where you should put your dollars into, trying to maximize your return on investment. The second graph basically just tells you, where your sales pipeline is as far as all the leads that you're receiving. So they should start at new, meaning that you haven't spoken to them yet. And then active, meaning they're either hot leads or your actual clients. You have a list, you have an active contract with them. Engaged, those are more for people that you're still trying to qualify. You're not really sure if they're hot or cold yet. So they're still in the engagement phase. Future, those are your cold leads. So cold leads are probably the ones that you want to have as little as possible, right? Ideally, they go to active, meaning they're a client of yours. And then finally, they go to close. Close, that hopefully is the top bar. That means you're making a lot of money. That's the idea, right? Those closed deals are basically your successful lead conversion. And lastly, the inactive ones, you might get customers that didn't mean to submit that form, so you can put them to the side, sending them as inactive. They might, you might have an opportunity still. You don't want to delete them. Maybe in 6 months from now, and you do some cold calling, you can go through your inactive clients. They might turn into an active status when they're ready to be spoken to about their potential selling or buying needs. So that's what we mean here by the performance insights. If you funnel all your leads, all your websites into top producer, or sorry, FiveStreet, the top producer, FiveStreet is a product of our company, Top Producer. So I keep messing it up sometimes, but yeah, FiveStreet, the dashboard, if you put all your leads into the one dashboard, it'll give you all these performance insights. And just to recap, and if you have any final questions, I welcome you to do that now. We're just about to wrap up. But to recap with what FiveStreet does, it helps you consolidate all those leads into one place. And as soon as a lead is captured into FiveStreet, we're going to automatically send them a personalized text message or an email. And that's within seconds. And it's automated. The best thing about it is it's automated, and it looks like it's customized by you. It looks like you typed it in manually yourself. If you're part of a team, we can set up some broadcasting rules so that it goes to that person, that best agent that's in your team, or that appropriate group in your team, to make sure that lead is being responded to right away. And as you can saw from some of those slides, it is very mobile friendly. A lot of our customers, sometimes they don't even log into their dashboard at all, because you can basically use the system from just the text messages that we send you. And as you saw with the social media insight and the property intel website insights, we're able to give you more information about that lead automatically without having you to go and do your own research, to go on the MLS board, or to try to find them on Facebook, Twitter, etc. We're doing that all automatically for you as soon as you receive that lead. And then, as you saw from the previous slide, we will give you some graphing so that it's easier for you to track in real time where your leads are, where your pipeline is, how, when should you expect some return on your investment, and where you should put in more of your lead spend, which website you should put into based on the leads that you're receiving. Lastly, it does sync automatically with Top Producer's CRM, or Top Producer X CRM, so that as soon as you receive that lead and they need a little bit more nurturing, right? They need a little bit more convincing from you. It automatically syncs to Top Producer CRM, and that's where you can set up drip campaigns. You can set up follow-up calls, etc., etc. So it's really useful in that sense. We basically give you the full circle, right? FiveStreet is really good with the initial first impression, and then you can continue on with Top Producer X to continue to build that relationship with those leads. But yeah, that is all I had for today. Let me go ahead, and it looks like we don't have any final questions. Thank you guys so much. if you do have any questions that we weren't able to answer today, we are available Monday to Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 4 p.m. Pacific. If you go to topproducer.com/campus, there's a chat button on the bottom right corner where you can click on that during our office hours and speak to us about your FiveStreet needs. Or if you also are a top producer customer, we can help you through that chat as well. Again, that's topproducer.com/campus. If you don't have FiveStreet yet, especially if you're just using Top Producer X, if you don't have FiveStreet yet, just leave a comment in the chat if you are interested, and we'll have one of our salespeople reach out to you. So again, my name is Dan Salcedo. I was your host for today. On chat, helping us out with some useful links is Marvin La Rosa. Thank you guys for joining me. Let me just take a quick look at the chat here. Perfect. Looks like all the questions have been answered. Thank you. Thank you so much, Marvin, for taking care of that. And Mohammed, thank you as well for joining us. If you have any plans for the weekend, hopefully, you get some good weather, right? Otherwise, thank you so much and have a great day.